Picard had a fake son on Star Trek. The Next Generation and Dr. Crusher repeated what happened with Jean-Luc's real son. Star Trek. The Next Generation. The first son Jean-Luc Picard never had. Long before fatherhood became canon for Jean-Luc Picard, Star Trek teased him with something far more unsettling. The idea of a son who wasn't his. In the 7th season episode, Bloodlines, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, played with icy restraint by Patrick Stewart, is blindsided by a young man named Jason Vigo. Jason claims to be the product of a long-ago relationship between Picard and a woman named Miranda. A DNA test appears to confirm it. Suddenly, the most disciplined captain in Starfleet history is faced with something he never wanted: a son. The reveal hits Picard at his core. For years, he insisted he was not suited for family life. Children made him uncomfortable. Emotional vulnerability felt dangerous. His career was his identity. And now, without warning, he's a father. Or so he believes. The truth is far crueler. Jason is a pawn in a twisted revenge scheme orchestrated by the Ferengi criminal Daimon Bok. Bok alters the DNA records to convince Picard that Jason is his child, hoping Picard's emotional turmoil will cloud his judgment. The entire ordeal is psychological warfare. When the deception is revealed, Picard experiences something complex and deeply human: relief mixed with loss. For a brief moment, he had allowed himself to imagine a different life, a legacy beyond the captain's chair, a child who carried his name. And then it vanished. The fake son exposed something Picard didn't want to admit. Beneath the rigid discipline and command authority, there was a man who feared intimacy and perhaps regretted the life he chose. The real son Picard never knew. Fast forward decades to Star Trek. Picard. And the irony becomes almost tragic. This time, the son is real. Jack Crusher, played by Ed Spelliers, is revealed to be the biological child of Jean-Luc Picard and Dr. Beverly Crusher. Unlike Jason Vigo, Jack isn't a manipulation or a con. He's flesh and blood. He carries Picard's stubbornness, wit, moral code, and even his dormant Borg-linked abilities. But here's the devastating twist. Picard didn't know he existed. Dr. Beverly Crusher, portrayed once again by Gates McFadden, chose to keep Jack's parentage a secret. She raised him alone, away from Starfleet, away from Picard. Her reasoning is layered and complicated. Picard had enemies. Dangerous ones. The Borg, Romulan operatives, and countless adversaries across the galaxy. She believed secrecy was protection. And in doing so, she repeated something hauntingly similar to what happened in Bloodlines. Picard was denied fatherhood again. History repeating itself in a different key. The difference between Jason Vigo and Jack Crusher is obvious. One was fake, one was real. But the emotional experience for Picard shares eerie parallels. In both cases, fatherhood arrives suddenly, unexpectedly, without preparation. In both cases, Picard is robbed of choice. With Jason, the choice was an illusion. He never truly had a son. With Jack, the choice was withheld. He had a son all along but was never told. The psychological symmetry is striking. In The Next Generation, Picard learns he might be a father and struggles to accept it. In Picard, he learns he already is one and struggles to forgive the lost years. What makes this repetition so powerful is how it reframes Picard's character arc across decades. In the 1990s, he resisted the idea of children because he believed he wasn't built for that life. By the 2020s, he has grown. He's older, softer, more reflective. When he learns about Jack, his instinct isn't denial, it's protectiveness. Time changed him, and Beverly's decision forced him to confront what he might have become much earlier. Beverly Crusher's difficult pattern. Dr. Crusher's choice mirrors Miranda Vigo's lie in an unexpected way. In Bloodlines, Miranda claimed Picard was Jason's father and kept it from him. In reality, Bok engineered the deception. But Picard still believed he'd been excluded from a child's life. Years later, Beverly does something remarkably similar, though from a place of love rather than manipulation. She chooses autonomy over shared parenthood. She chooses safety over transparency. Her decision isn't villainous. It's protective, yet it carries consequences. Picard misses Jack's childhood. He misses scraped knees, moral lessons, teenage rebellion. He misses the chance to shape the young man Jack becomes. For a character whose defining trait was duty, the loss of that personal duty hits harder than any starship battle. From emotional distance to emotional risk. In The Next Generation, Picard's discomfort around children is almost comedic at times. Episodes like Disaster show him awkwardly managing a group of kids in a turbolift, visibly out of his depth. Fatherhood terrified him because it required vulnerability. By the time Star Trek, Picard unfolds, that fear has transformed. The older Jean-Luc isn't afraid of emotional risk. He welcomes it. He wants connection, even if he doesn't know how to express it perfectly. That evolution makes the fake son storyline and Bloodlines feel prophetic. It's as if the writers unknowingly planted a seed decades earlier. Picard had to experience the illusion of fatherhood first, had to feel what it meant to lose a son he never had, before he could fully embrace the real one. Jason Vigo was a rehearsal for heartbreak. Jack Crusher is the real test. The tragedy of timing.